We are good to start your show, ma'am.
We are?
We are.
Okay, so welcome to Hooked, Stories and Songs from Texas and Beyond. My name is Susan Hickman. This is my guest of the week for the first episode ever of Hooked. Chris Boise, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. I am, when I was approached, I was so excited because, number one, it's Susan freaking Hickman, right?
You make me sound like I was like hiding behind a tree going like, hey, Chris, come here. Like I bagged him and like took him off and was like, hey, you got to do this.
You know where my address, you know where I live. Anyway, no, man, she kind of threw it at me and I was like, absolutely 100% times yes, I am thankful to be here. I'm humbled to be here. And I appreciate the vote of conference to come on and be your first guest on what I think is going to be a very successful journey for you.
I hope so. So I've wanted to do a show very much like this. We don't know what this is going to turn into, but I've wanted to do this for like 15 years.
But you're doing it. We're here. We made it.
I feel like this is the maiden voyage, and a lot of mistakes are going to happen. A lot of like feet in our mouth and all the things. But I'm glad that all of y'all are here.
Yes, thank you.
And we're excited. So y'all give it up for my very first guest, Chris Boise. So originally, I know you from Katy, Texas, but is that where you grew up or is that where you're from? Like,
that is a very long, convoluted story.
Convoluted.
So I was, yes, good word, SAT word. I was born here in Houston, and then when I was 10 years old, my parents, which are right here, my dad ended up getting transferred to Atlanta, Georgia. So when I was 10, we moved to Georgia. And while I was there, became a drummer first. Got a drum set when I was probably 10 or 11. And that's where I started. And of course, my dad, I can't talk about my journey without talking about my dad's, because he was a very well-known singer here in Houston. He was a part of a duo called Boyce and Kramer, if you had ever been around this area. Yeah, so Boyce is how he spelled his last name on stage. And he did a lot of really cool things and kind of laid a path. He was... the accomplishments, they're never ending, but he played bass guitar for Liza Minnelli, was on the Ed Sullivan Show, was on the same record label as Jimi Hendrix. Just the list goes on. And so when I was a kid, kind of coming into being in a musical family, I think they had an idea that I would probably get into music. And honestly, I think at one point or another, he said that he didn't want me to get into music because he understood what this life can look like. And so when my journey started was drums. I was ADHD as a child and still am, probably. And so, drums was kind of a way for me to kind of rein in the ADHD-ness, and did that for a long time, and then kind of realized as I got a little bit older that I could sing a little bit, and there was, I don't know if I'd call it talent, but whatever that was. Got to do that, started playing guitar because my dad and my best friend did, and I couldn't, and it pissed me off. So I learned. And then it just kind of all snowballed into this whole thing where I wrote songs, and then I recorded records, and then I got to do really cool stuff. But it all started kind of with my family and just that lineage of coming from that and having that in the blood, and then obviously, God seeing it fit to give me the ability to go do it. So, but I'm here now. Moved back in 2010. Just moved to the Lamarck area, Texas City area, literally in January. And so, we're neighbors now. And so this is kind of a new voyage for me too.
That's so exciting. So I remember when I first met you, I met you in Katy, and I think I met you because we needed a drummer.
You did.
And I think it was like a Girls with Guitars thing.
I think it was Mandy Powell.
And Presley Lewis.
And you, and I don't know if Heather was a part of that. But
she wasn't.
Mandy was the one who reached out to me. I guess she knew me because she had seen me. So Mandy was the one who reached out, and I don't remember what we played.
Mandy Powell, she's another awesome singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter, yeah.
Look her up.
And so I think that's where I met all of you guys was that, playing drums for you guys. So
yeah, and it was very cool. So he called us all over to his house. We're like, what is this going to be like? Dude I've never met. But he was there, his wife was there, and it was so cool. And like, it's cool that was like probably what, 15
at least
years ago?
Yeah, I would probably.
Yeah. And we've done all kinds of shows since then, like really, really fun stuff.
If you look at where our music scene is was then to where it is now, you kind of grow up with everybody, right? It's almost
Yeah.
like there's a maturation there, and you see everybody kind of grow up and mature in their songwriting and their their entertainment ability and the things, the opportunities that come to those, or come to them. And so, I mean, you have had some amazing opportunities lately. I have to say, congratulations on your voice, on the being on The Voice.
Thank you.
So that was very cool, and then all of the success that you've had here in Houston. I mean, you're incredible. I'm like I said, I'm blessed to be here, and I'm thankful to share the stage with somebody who's just extremely talented. So.
Well, thank you. I guess I picked the right. I picked the right first.
I'm not being
guest,
paid
right?
to be here, by the way. I'm not being paid to be here. I'm getting free drinks. That's it.
Oh my
So.
gosh. No, but seriously, like it's cool, and like it's cool to see like your friends progress in the industry too, right? Like it's amazing to see like where you start off and you meet each other and you swap stories and you swap songs and you're like, hey, what do you do about this, or what do you do about that? And it's like we've had a lot of talks, as we all have, and that's kind of the reason why I wanted to start cultivating this. I don't know. What do you start the conversation and get y'all like involved?
Absolutely.
And we have a live studio audience today here at Coco's on the Canal. Y'all make some noise for yourselves.
Yeah.
You beautiful people, you.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think this is a great way to get into question and answers. And obviously, please, if you've got questions, you can shout them out. But I think my question to you is, what was the defining moment in your music journey where you said, I'm hooked. This is it. I'm hooked.
Look
See
at
what I
you.
did there?
Look at
See what I
you.
did there? They call that a segue.
It is a segue. So, oh man, I have a couple of instances like throughout my life my young life, where I was like, I have to do this. So the first one where I was like, this is a defining moment in my life. I saw Leanne Rimes on like an award show. It was like one of the like this ACMAs or like CMT awards or something, Grammys. I don't think it was the Grammys. But she sang Unchained Melody, and I think I was like 11 or 12 years old. And that night, I told my parents, I was like, this is what I have to do for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, okay. Because they were not musical. Like, at least like your parents, they were able to like kind of, I don't know, you could ask questions maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that works.
I've asked questions for sure.
But my parents had absolutely no idea whatsoever. So my mom, her response was, well, show me that you're serious.
Yeah.
And it was literally the first time that I'd ever been fully like 100% serious in my whole life about pursuing an actual career. And so for me to tell my parents that I was serious, it was me getting in the phone book when, y'all remember phone books? Yeah.
That thick?
Yeah, I'm going to be 40 this year, so I feel like I can talk about phone books. Anyway, but yeah, I was like, I got in the phone book. I made a ton of appointments with some dead-end music talent agency people, which I'm not going to name any of them right now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it started with that, and then I brought the list to my mom the next morning, and I was like, this is what we're going to do. And she's like, wow, okay. And that's kind of where it began. I mean, it began with me like, you know, I played piano at 5 and violin and you know. But that's where it was like the aha moment. Like, she's 12. Leanne Rimes is 12 years old. And I was 12. She was 14. So she's
Wow.
like just a little bit older than me. And I
didn't realize she was that young when she did it.
Yeah, 14 years old.
Wow.
And it was like that aha moment where I was like, that could be me right there. Just make it happen.
I think mine. So there was a defining moment in my life where my parents had a very serious conversation with me. I had decided that I was gonna play drums, but I was also going to do the singer-songwriter thing, play cover music, like just play cover songs. And I was playing at I might have been 19 years old, and I was playing at this local watering hole in Noonan, Georgia, called the Twilight. And so the Twilight was literally, the square footage is maybe the size of your kitchen. Like 1,000 square feet, maybe. It was tiny, but it used to be an old driving range that they converted into a bar and then like a live music venue. And if anybody who was anybody was playing at the Twilight, okay? And so my folks were friends with the owners, and they said, hey, Chris is starting to kind of wanting to get out there and play some music and play some songs for people. Would it be okay if he comes in on like a Thursday and just play? So they bought me a PA. I had an old custom PA, like you remember those? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Had that. It sounded like absolute dog boo boo. But so I go in there and I started to kind of play, and of course everybody was really nice and they were throwing tips in the jar to be nice. I was terrible. Like I was really, really bad.
That's what I feel about myself.
Like I was really,
don't
really
listen
bad.
to me. No.
It was really, really bad. So I did this for a couple of weeks and it kind of became a normal thing for me. But my parents stopped going. They stopped coming to see me. And so I think I asked them, I was like, why are you guys not coming? And my mom was very frank. She goes, you suck. You're terrible to watch. And I was like, I'm 19 years old thinking I'm like the shit and I'm not. And so we have this conversation and she's like, I had this big like gray binder that had all my songs in it, and she was like, you got to lose the binder. Okay, I'll learn the words.
Yeah.
And then, like it's you had to get better with an audience, right? So you had to learn how to talk to an audience. And it was like that perennial moment where I was just like, oh crap, I have to actually work at this. This sucks.
I have a question about that. Okay, so you said you have to talk to an audience. Were you just like terrible at talking to the audience?
Oh God. Like just this is me.
Like no eye contact.
Oh God,
like,
no. I was never
awkward.
No. Never. I mean, the thought of looking an audience in the eye at 19 years old is terrifying. And the thing is that for those of you who've never done this, right? So for those of you who've never been in our shoes and have never had the honor of getting on stage and entertaining people, there is nothing more scary than standing up there by yourself with a guitar and trying to entertain people that don't know you. Okay?
And keep in mind, playing songs, that's the easy part.
Playing the songs is the easy part.
We're actually pretty okay at that.
I'm not. Well, you are. I'm not.
No, you are good. You're very good.
But honestly, the thing is that it's so gratifying when you guys being here and being a part of this is super gratifying for her because this is her show. But it's gratifying for me because you don't know me from Adam, right? You're listening to me tell stories about like an obscure childhood that you don't know anything about. So the fact that I get to talk to you as though I've known you for 20 years, it's really cool. And 20 years ago, I was not doing this. There was no way I was going to sit up here in front of you guys and have a candid conversation about my life and where my shortfalls were and my shortcomings, and talked about where I needed to progress and get better. I was never having that conversation. So what I can say is that through that hard conversation with my parents, I learned a very valuable lesson, and it really was that moment was like, okay, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to get better at this, and I want it like from that point on, when I walked into a room and I was going to be singing in a room full of singers, I wanted to be better than everybody. I wanted to walk in with the mentalities that they're going to remember my name when I'm done. Right?
Yes.
Thank you for listening to my diatribe. This is my TED Talk. You're free to go.
No, but I really resonate with that but I also, so like growing up through the industry and still, it's still something that I think about every day. It's like, I don't want to be the one. Yes, I do want to be the one in the room that knows the most. Sure, that's what we all aspire to, but like, I want to learn from everybody.
Now I do. Now I'm of the mindset that now I want to learn. In my 20s, I didn't care. I just wanted to be the best in the room, right? I walked in thinking, I'm going to kick your ass. You're going to know my name by the time I'm done.
Yeah.
And then when I got to my 30s, I was like, oh, okay, there are people that are really better than me. I have to learn from these people, right?
I think I really recognize that in my 30s too. Because how old are you? We can talk about it. I told you how old I was.
I am almost 40.
So am I. Wait, when's your birthday? Are we both July?
No. My birthday was St. Patrick's Day. I turned 39 on St. Patrick's Day. But here's the thing about turning 39. Thank you. Here's the thing about turning 39. You are no longer in your 30s.
No.
You're just almost 40.
Yeah.
That's it.
I've been saying I'll be 40 next year or my next birthday and all the things for like a year. Because I'm preparing myself for the fact that I'm going to be able.
Almost 40.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to tell people eventually.
Staring it in the face.
I'm 40 years old. Because when I turned 30, the whole year before, 29 and all the things, I had a problem with turning 30. I cried.
So did I cried.
Yeah, I cried. I was like, I have to accomplish all I had a laundry list. And keep in mind, being in the music industry, it's tough enough as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give you the sob story.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
But being a girl in this industry, they have taught us that we have an expiration date, and we absolutely do not.
Nope.
I don't believe that anymore at all. Whether it's the music industry or anything, I mean, heck, you could be a freaking supermodel at 75 years old. Bet.
Go women.
Yeah, come on, go. No, but so I say that to be like, I'm really excited to turn 40 because I'm really proud of the accomplishments that I've made, and I've got still a ton of stuff to do, but at least I don't feel like I have like this date that I have to accomplish everything by, because I don't remember where this epiphany started, but I had this like idea manifest in my head one day. I was like, here's the thing. Expectations ruin everything, right? Like you think, oh, my life is supposed to go like this. It doesn't turn out quite like this. Oh, I'm disappointed. Bam. You're sad, you're depressed, you're whatever. If you put it more in a perspective like, I want to reach these certain things and I'm going to do these certain things, and I don't even want to call them goals, because sometimes when you set goals that are so unrealistic and you don't reach them in the point of, or the amount of time that you set for yourself, you come up like
such a letdown.
Yeah, you feel like a failure. So I feel like do the little things and just keep moving forward and be really, really, really celebratory about the accomplishments that you do make along the way, even the little tiny ones, because those are the ones that are going to get you to the bigger picture.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Susan or myself just out there? I mean, since we're here, we're kind of having a roundtable discussion.
And if you don't want to shout them out, I got some index cards if you want to pass those out.
She literally thought of everything.
I mean, not everything, but I've thought of some things. But if you want to pass them out, write your name and your phone number and your email address so we can stalk you later. And make sure that you come to every taping here at Coco's on the Canal. I do want to throw that out there as well. We're going to be here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. I know we started a little bit late today, but that's okay because this is the maiden voyage. But awesome. we want to see all of you guys, and we want to grow this thing. And I my hope and my dream and I'm not going to call it a goal. My want and my heart's desire for this show is to cultivate the relationships that I've built along the way. I've been doing this almost 26 years, which is really scary. But again, it's an accomplishment, and I want to showcase. We don't have anything like this down here. Nothing. We don't have songwriter nights. We don't have writing rooms. We don't have like this kind of interaction. So like the fact that y'all all are here, thank you, and we love Coco's on the Canal for like believing in this. And
yes, thank you to them for sure. Please get yourself a drink. Take care of your bar staff.
And they're amazing. They're truly amazing. Adam Beeson and Jill and everyone involved in Coco's, they're like family. So I love you guys.
When you get a song in your mind, how do you project it to?
You talk about writing it?
Yeah, when you get an idea for a song.
So when we get an idea for a song,
how do we project it?
How do we project it?
How does it become a song at that initial thought?
You want to take this? Or
I think you should take this one.
So
you're the guest.
So
repeat the question real quick.
So the question is that when we get inspired for a song, right? So when we sit down and say, I'm going to write this song, how do we pretty much what is the mindset of creating that song and then putting music to it or whatever that looks like? So for me personally, I haven't written anything in a while. And the reason for that is that my life has kind of just been just nonstop. I kind of got picked up in a tribute world, and I have 2 little girls, and I've got a wife, and I need to be a dad, and the whole thing. But when I was writing songs, especially younger, because I was a musician first, I would always write the music first. There was something like, if I knew that I wanted a song, like a lot of my old songs are about past relationships, and even one of my favorite songs, I'll talk about Dreams, one of my favorite songs, and I'll play it here in a minute. I wrote this song because I was dating a girl who lived here. I lived in Georgia, okay? And so I thought, I knew that I wanted it to be emotional in the way that it came across musically. So for those of you that are in the music biz, anything in a minor key is emotional. It usually carries a lot of weight. You know, in me being a drummer first, I always thought about what I wanted the drums to do as I was writing a guitar riff. And as you'll see when I play the song, it's a very rhythmic song. The way that I play it is very rhythmic because that was the first thing I thought of. So I knew that I wanted this song to kind of have that emotional, driving feel to it. And then when it came to the lyrics, like any songwriter, you try to be as relatable as possible about what you're writing about, right? So for me, this song was about a girl that I was dating here. I was in Georgia. And the one thing that was common about being in that relationship is that we didn't necessarily have FaceTime at that point. You had Skype, but it was kind of weird. And like, you know, so the one thing you do have is your dreams, right? And so I wrote, the reason I wrote the song was because I felt that was very relatable for people who are in long-distance relationships where you can see that person in your dreams. That's the closest you're going to be to them without actually being there with them. And so the way that I kind of wrote the verses and the choruses is what, you know, it's you basically just kind of build the relationship up as it was, at least in my mind, how it looked, how it felt to be away from that person, you know. And then in the chorus, you're basically saying, "I see you in my dreams. This is where I'm at," right? And then at the end of the song, of course, there's a happy ending where you're now together and you no longer have to dream, right? So the maturation of that song for me was really, it started with music, drums basically, because that was what I gravitated towards when I was younger. And then I realized that I wanted it to be emotional. I knew that I wanted it to have a very driving center. And then I realized that I wanted it to have a little bit of a rock element because that's also something that I liked at the time. The lyrics were totally secondary. I didn't have them written. I literally wrote the song as music and then wrote the lyrics secondary because I wanted to fit the pieces how they were. It is not.
It's not normal.
No, I am so different from probably anybody you'll ever see on this show. Like literally, I'm so different. Most people do lyrics first, and then especially if you're writing with somebody or you're. Thank you. I look. Words are hard sometimes. When you're collaborating with someone else, a lot of times they'll have a particular guitar part that they've been playing with. They're like, oh, that's going to sound good here, right? For me, it was completely different. I wrote this song, and it was music first and then lyrics, and I just made it fit. So it was cool. If you don't mind, can I play it for you? Do you guys care?
Yes, I was literally just about to say, he does have his guitar, and it's going to sound amazing. And this is actually one of the ones that I noted. I even made notes, y'all, and I haven't even looked at them this whole time. But this is one of the ones that I wanted to know the story behind. So that's really cool. It's like he reads minds or something. I love that.
All right. I am going to try not to spill my drink, because that would be bad. All right. This song's called Dreams. It's coming of the season, you can feel the cold air. She is the reason, that's why he's still here. Oh, you know that he's in trouble when she's not around. Oh, you know he sees her double when he dreams about the love they made on a cold winter night, the feelings they shared with her until tight. What's he gonna dream about tonight? She puts on her makeup, there's no one around. She can't help but wonder what he's doing going now. Oh, you know she wants to be near. She can't quite reach. Oh, you know she wants to feel it. So instead she dreams. She's tasting his kiss on an early morning sunrise. She's safe in his arms. Yeah, she hangs on tight. What's she gonna dream about tonight? This isn't a dream, but a dream come true. You've made this a reality, now I have you. I taste a kiss on that early morning sunrise. You're safe in my arms. Yeah, it feels so right. We don't have to dream tonight. Oh no. Oh no. Thank you very much. One of my own cold dreams.
I love that so much. So when did you write that? What year was that?
Ooh. See, now we're getting into nitty-gritty. I wrote that I moved back in 2010, so I wrote it in probably 2007 or 8. It was
Okay.
literally the title track off my very first record, which is available on iTunes and Amazon and Spotify and all your online retailers.
And I'm gonna get all of that stuff from you. We're
Yeah.
gonna cite all of that, and so like you're gonna have access to all of that, so you can.
So yeah, probably 2007, 2008. I was literally, she was living here and just kind of at a weird place because I was traveling back and forth. Funny enough, I was actually a radio DJ. That's when I was a DJ. And so I was working for a radio station. I was doing radio there, and then that was like funding my trips to Houston.
I hear that. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when did you actually start writing? Like when did you when did you write your first song?
Probably 2005. I was probably 18. Yeah, I don't know. I say that. So I was a part of the songwriting process on a couple of different things that weren't necessarily mine, and that was just through high school because I was like in a high school Christian band. And we had a couple of songs that we actually cut, but I was in the writing process on that. But my very first song was probably written in 2000. Yeah, probably 2005.
It's weird to talk about that, right? Like when you started versus like, you know, how the progression. Like I started writing stories, like little books. I made them myself. I'm like it's really interesting, and I wanted to write books first. And then I would like write these stories, and you know, I would sing songs and write songs, but I just didn't think that was a thing, and it was just unattainable, right? Like, you know, we talked about, you know, the Leanne Rimes moment for me, like when you actually thought it was like that was it. Like what was that for you? Like who was that, or what was it, or like did you have an epiphany, or like?
Honestly, I think because of the household that I grew up in, I didn't have an idol other than my dad, right? Like there wasn't, and I mean that truthfully. Like it's very cool. It's very cool living in a household with somebody like that because, you know, I think the easy answer would have been George Strait or Garth Brooks, but none of those people. I mean, and of course I love those artists and love songs from those artists, but just knowing what my dad did was kind of like I wanted to be just like him when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
When I was 8 and 9, that's what I wanted to be. And so it never really went into like a particular artist that was like like an icon for me. It was never that. It was just, I had my dad, and he was doing it, and I would see pictures, and it was like, I knew that he was a big deal, and that was in my life. I didn't care about the big stars. That was my big star.
I think that's so cool because so many kids and young people, they want to do something that's so polar opposite than what their parents do, because they just want to, do
don't get me wrong. My parents wanted to kick my ass on multiple occasions. Like, let's not get it twisted.
Mine too. My poor parents. Oh my gosh.
Still do, I'm sure. But.
Like my mom was musical, but like she never really like pursued like a singing career or like, like really active on an instrument. And my dad will say that he's tone deaf. He's not tone deaf. He knows what good music sounds like, and he knows he's the biggest music fan, and he's like my biggest fan, which I love. But it was so foreign to them. They had absolutely no idea. So like, it's just, I don't know, I said it before, but I think it's just really cool that you're able to have that and at least have some of that guidance,
Yeah, and I think the guidance part is, there was a lot of tough love there.
Oh, mine too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Mine too. My mom, whew.
Oh, you should hear the story about when I decided to move to Houston. That was rough. So being a drummer first, stuff was booked for me. Like people told me where to be, like where to go, and of course, my parents were at almost all of my shows, and so being a drummer, it's a little bit different than being a lead singer because, if you assimilate into a band, you're kind of told where to go, where to be, what you're getting paid, and then you jump into this world, what we do, and a lot of times we're in charge of our own booking, right?
For sure.
And so that's the part that, and I was lucky because I had those conversations. Like, my dad would tell me how the horror stories about booking, right? And so going in and doing the original thing and getting better at it and more mature at it was, okay, now I have to deal with the booking side of it. As somebody who's coming up in our industry and who doesn't really have that lineage or that soundboard or support system, that hits you like a sack of bricks. It's a different world in what we do trying to get places. Like you go in, you walk into a place, you're like, hey, I've got this really great band. And these places are like, yeah, so does the guy down the street.
And 4,000 other people.
Yeah, like that, and that's the thing. So, and that's kind of that's shell shocking when you don't have that advice going in.
So when did you okay, I want to know, when did you walk in to your first venue and just say, give me a job? Like not an email, not a text, not a MySpace message, because I know that you're old enough to know what that is.
Tom was my friend.
Tom was my friend.
Tom was my friend.
I remember mine. That's the reason, it sticks out real.
My parents probably remember. I don't necessarily remember.
Well, let's ask them. They are here.
So what was that for me?
Ooh, I remember Evans.
And asked for a job. Okay, so I think so I did walk into Evans Music City and ask for a job, but I think she's talking about like the first time you ever walked in with a guitar and said, "Hey, let me sing."
Yeah, let me.
Probably the Twilight, but then again, I moved here in 2010 and didn't know anybody and just kind of had to make it work. And thankfully, I had met a friend of mine named Ronnie who was pretty well connected in the bar scene, and so. He would go to a pool night every Wednesday night at a place off of Highway 6, and he's like, "Hey, they're going to start doing live music. They'll pay us $150 total and buy our beer."
Woo!
And I was like, "Yeah, all right, I can eat this week. This is great."
And back then, that was making it.
Yeah, man, $75. You know what? Jack in the Box tacos were a major food group in my life when I was in my 20s. They still, funny enough, they still are, but it's just.
I mean, it is what it is.
But that was probably it. I mean, making $150 between the two of us, and then, sometimes you walk away with $20 in tips. Sometimes it was another $150.
I know it's crazy to think about that. Like I remember mine. I was 16 years old, and I'd been playing for and I say playing, I count how long I've been in the music business as how long I've been making money. My first gig was I made $14.
14 whole American dollars.
$14.
Wow.
Thank you very much. I didn't even pay taxes on it.
The IRS is probably watching.
They're
watching.
It's going to be worldwide.
No tax on tips.
But yeah, exactly. Now, thank you, Donald Trump.
Yeah, thank you.
No, but I remember the first time that I ever walked in physically myself, and it wasn't my mom doing my bookings, which she did. God love her. She was amazing. When I told her that this is what I wanted to do, she was like, we're going to go to the library and we're going to read every book that we can find on the music business.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You went to the library?
Yeah.
See, I couldn't read. That was my problem. Kidding.
We went to the library and legit, like, she's like, if I'm reading this stuff, you're reading this stuff. So I put my Nancy Drew books away. For real. And I read contracts, and so much of that stuff doesn't even apply anymore, but the fact that she taught me the discipline to learn and how to do it as a business, and thank you, Mom, thank you.
That's huge,
Go
man.
Sharon.
That's huge, yeah.
Yes. But the first time that I ever walked into a venue, it was Moe's Place.
Oh.
Because I know from all the people that Moe's Place was the place to play. And by the way, I'm going to be playing there next week. But
Atta girl.
yeah.
On a weekend?
Yeah.
Good for you.
I play there like every couple of months or so.
They won't book me anymore.
Oh, well, we won't talk about that. Because Mo is going to listen to this.
Oh, okay.
So,
Atta girl.
yeah. But I walked in and I saw Mo and I was like, hi, Mr. Mo. I'm 16-year-old Susan Hickman and I have a music career and here's my CD.
I'm
and
a total badass.
I made my own press kits. I made my own folders with my face on them. It was embarrassing. Like, it was so bad.
Can I please do you have any of those folders left?
I do.
Do you really? I want one, please.
I'm moving right now. I have a box of them that
I need one.
haven't seen the light of day in like 20.
You know what? I'm
5
gonna
years.
use your folder as my press kit. I'm gonna walk in and be like, "This is Susan Hickman's face," but bam, it's
It
Chris Bliss
has
on the
my
inside.
MySpace on it.
Oh, heck yeah.
It legit does.
That's good.
Yeah. But I walked up to him and I was like, I want a gig. And bless this man's heart. Like, I really, like, I have a lot of respect for the man. I really do. Because he told me, he took the folder and he legit opened it. He read some. He looked at everything that I had. I had lots of things in there. And he looked at me and he kind of gave me a little side hug and he goes, thank you, Miss Hickman, for giving me this. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to say, not right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that point on, it's like, I don't know, like, as I tell these stories, like, they become like these epiphanies, right?
Yeah, it's like a bigger thing.
I took no as not right now. And that has carried me, like, through where I'm sitting today. Like, if somebody tells me no, it's like, but does it really mean no? It just means it's not the right time or it's not the right...
If you've ever been in any salesman class, that is exactly what they teach.
Really?
Yes, that is literally the number one rule in sales is no means not right now.
Okay, well...
So that was a killer lesson to learn at 16 years old.
So you're saying I could be a salesman?
For context, okay, so Moe's Place and I had a weird. I'm gonna putting this.
Tell the story. Tell the
So
story.
I'm putting this in the universe. So Moe's Place and I played Moe's Place for a long time, and it was a weekday band for them. I played on Thursdays a lot, and I always was trying to beg for a Friday and Saturday because I thought I was good enough. I thought my band was good enough, and I had a relationship with Mo. Mo knew my wife. Like, there was just a lot there. And so at some point, I don't remember, at some point, things got sideways because he asked for a promo picture, and there was a picture of me at the Rustic downtown, which has this big rustic in lights, right? And you couldn't see the whole name, but you could tell that it was the Rustic. And so I gave him this promo picture, and he went to his son, Mo Jr., and said, well, why is the Rustic logo in there? And they went to me, and I said, it's just half. I said, it's just a great picture. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruffle any feathers. And so we changed the promo out. I played that show, and then I got ghosted for about 3 years.
Man.
Yeah. So COVID happens, 2020 happens, and there was a private event, and I was being salty at the moment, but pretty much they were having a private event in 2020, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody we knew was playing there, and I said, must be nice to get a call from Mo on their Facebook page, which was stupid.
Oh no!
This was really dumb.
Chris.
It was really dumb. I was salty.
No.
And so then it really kind of kicked off. And so about 4 years later, 5 years later, I go in and I corner Mo and Mo Jr. And I said, you know what? I was the bigger person. I said, you know what? I owe you guys an apology. I was young. I had an ego, and I'm really sorry that I put that out there. And I said, if you'll have me, I would love to come back. And they said, oh yeah, we'll think about it. And then they just never called me. So if Mo sees this, if Mo and Mo Jr. see this, please know that I am incredibly sorry for the stupid shit that I said when I was 27. I'm 39 now, by the way. But I'm so proud of you for playing most plays, because it really is, it's such a massive place, even still for Katie, you know?
For sure.
And it's like, all the greats have played that stage. I've played that stage one time, and it really is, there is something about that place that is really pretty magical. And I was salty, and I showed my butt, and I apologize for that. I try to be a better human than that these days. I really do. But that isn't, so for context, that's my story about most plays. So.
But you know what? I mean, sometimes getting that out into the ether, and you never know who's going to see it and hear it, and
You never know.
you never know.
I might get a call. You never
Mo,
know.
we love you.
We love you.
We really do. But I mean, it is a really special place.
It is.
But I do appreciate the fact that he didn't just tell me, no, you little peon of a newbie, go away. Like and what was even more special about that is that the first time that I ever came and I played there, he remembered. He was reciting to
cool.
me what was actually, like, what I recall happening. And I was like, wow, that's actually really pretty special.
So that leads me to this question for you.
Yes.
Okay. And moving on from most plays, give me two. Your most favorite venue that you've ever played.
Ooh.
Okay. And then your most
Coco's on the canal.
and then your most favorite show you've ever played.
Oh, man.
They can be the same or they can be different. So let's start with venue. What's your most favorite venue that you've ever played?
This is really hard because I can't.
See, I came prepared.
See,
I came
I did
prepared.
not. I was the one supposed to be asking all the questions. No, not
Okay,
really.
so here's what I'll do. I'll say mine.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll say mine.
Okay.
So I mentioned, and I kind of teased that I'm in the tribute world. I do.
Oh yes, tell him
and
about
please,
this.
Please don't laugh at me. You can laugh at me. I don't care.
Hey,
So-
you know what? He's actually a really good dude. Okay,
He's a good
have
dude.
more to say, but what he's gonna say.
So 3 years ago, it was the universe put it in my life that I was to do a Luke Bryan tribute. Okay, my mom had something to do with it. A lot of people told me that I should, and so I ran with it. Okay. There is, like, you either love Luke Bryan or you hate Luke Bryan. I get it. I totally get it. In all of this, what happens is that we scrounge up some money. We have a promo video shot, and then I get a message from somebody named Paul Wenzel, who's in Chicago, Illinois, and he runs what's called the Icons of Country Music. What this is it's a tribute show where there's 3 tribute artists in one night. Same band, but 3 different artists. So he, like, and tell me, you know exactly where I'm going here, but have you ever had those people that, like, they'll either message you on Facebook or they'll come to a show and they were like, I can do something for you. This is who I know I can do this for you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's
Definitely.
and excuse my language, I'm sorry for it's all bullshit. Like, it's all bullshit.
Most of the time.
So
99.999999999.
it is 100% all of it. So I get this message, and he's like, my name is Paul Wenzel. By the way, just total plug for them. If you ever see Made in America, a Toby Keith tribute, go see that show. It is unbelievable, okay? That's Paul Wenzel. It's his.
They've seen it.
It's his Toby Keith tribute.
so.
It's called Made in America. It really is fantastic. Anyway, so he's the lead singer of that, and he's also the manager of the Icons of Country Music. So he sends me a message, and he says, hey, he says, this is what I'm doing. I saw your Luke Bryan promo. I'd like to talk to you. And I said, okay, again, we've seen these people. They never come through. So we schedule a call. He ends up calling me. We have this conversation. He's like, I have 2 shows right now. I'll pay for your flight, your hotel, your car. And I'm like, what does it pay? And he told me what it paid. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, I need to go through my wife here. So I go and have a conversation with my wife. We kind of talk through it. And she goes, okay, yeah, I mean, if it's real, do it. So I call him back and I said, I'm good. Like, I want to try this. Within 20 minutes, I had a hotel booked, I had a flight booked, and I had a car booked in my email. And I was like, holy crap, this is real. This is real. So it was about 2 months until I fly up. I go up there, I play the shows, I meet the band, they have rehearsals, and it was like the coolest people. For number one, I did not realize in Chicago, Illinois, they were so starved for country music. They love it. They absolutely love it. I promise you, it's wild to me. But and so it leads me to talk about my favorite venue that I've ever played. There was a theater in St. Charles, Illinois, called the Arcada Theater. This particular theater was built in 1915, and it was a vaudeville theater. And the thing about it is that in the 10s and 20s, there was only really about 5 or 6 vaudeville theaters across the country: in New York, San Francisco, Dallas, Chicago, and like Orlando or Tampa or something. There was literally 6. And so the only way that these venues could promote the shows that were coming in, and granted, the vaudeville acts, there were only a handful of them, maybe 7 across the country, okay? So the only way that they were able to get these shows out and promoted was by Pony Express. Think about that. Imagine promoting a Susan Hickman show only by Promo Express. It's wild, right?
That's crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
Okay.
So it would be on every newspaper publication in that city.
What?
Right? It's crazy. And so there's a picture inside the Arcada of this theater with a line wrapped around, and this is probably 1920. I have no idea how they got the aerial, maybe on top of another building, but there's a line wrapped around the building, and obviously it looks very different now, but there was a line wrapped around the building, and they said that the picture was taken in January, so it's probably 10 degrees, right? Oh, dude, I was there in February. When I landed, it was 3 degrees. I'm not built for that at all.
I'm not
a
a cold
wuss.
person. Not at all.
Anyhow.
Not one bit.
So the Arcada Theater, the first time I ever played it was Jason Aldean, me as Luke Bryan, and then a Kenny Chesney. This theater seats 850 people. We sold 833 tickets.
That's amazing.
And it was probably the best show of my whole career. There's a great picture. If you go to my website, there's a great picture of me singing to the crowd with the flashlights.
With the flashlights.
The flashlights.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's just every time I see that picture, it just reminds me of what the universe is capable of. Because I am just a kid from Houston, Texas, that gets to go up to this place where, again, nobody knows me. And it's the most humbling thing ever, because after that show, I hit my last note, I do my walk-off, the music ends, there's a 15-minute intermission, and I come out, and I literally was going to go out and say hi to my parents because they were there. And there were 2 staircases, and there was a line up the valleyway into the atrium. And they were literally standing there to come take pictures with me, to talk with me, to shake my hand. And this went on, I'm telling you, it was cool. Yeah, it was such a humbling experience, and it was like my favorite. So the show and the venue are in the same for me, because it was such a special, again, defining moment in my music career. I'm singing somebody else's music. I'm doing something completely out of my comfort zone. Skinny jeans suck. Like, it's not fun for me, you know? But I love the show. I love the people, and that was really like the moment where I was like, I freaking love this, man. Like, I love it. I really do. I love it. So that is my favorite venue and show wrapped up in one.
I love that. And I even, that's pretty convenient that it's both.
It didn't mean for it to be, but...
I mean, I think my favorite show, so you said venue or show, right? I think my favorite show was, so I played this festival in Crepon, France. So it's like southern France. It was a 3-day festival. It was me and just a ton of other Texas and some Nashville artists, like the Grass Skulls, Daryl Singletary before he passed away. God rest his soul. Who else? Robert Earl Keen, Ray Wiley Hubbard. Just, it was a really fun time. But I played on the last day with Daryl Singletary. I played and then he played, I think. And I remember... So we're in France, right? And if you've ever tried to speak French, it's hard. It's hard to...
My dad speaks French.
It's hard to speak. It's hard to understand. Like, I'm German and American Indian, so, I can kind of understand some German and some Swiss German and some of those things. But French, no. I had absolutely no idea. but we're playing our set, and it's mostly original music, which is great. But they're singing my songs. Really? They're singing every word. It's like a chorus, and I'm like, where is this? What is happening right now? And this was in 2010, so I had just put out my self-titled record, like maybe a year and a half, 2 years before then, and yeah, they're singing back to me my songs, and it's like my soul floated out of my body
It's wild.
and was like, "Are you seeing this?"
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was really crazy, and I mean, obviously, like that was just an experience of itself because we all like got to, they rented out like a whole hotel for all of us, and so it was just like this 3 or 4 day just amazing like experience with all these artists and everybody.
It's almost unfair that we get to do this because, as I said earlier, for those that are not musical and don't have the ability to do that, there is something magical about what we get to do. The life is hard. Like, there's no doubt about it. This life that we do, even on the scale that we are, and granted, she's doing some bigger things than I am, but the life that we live, I mean, there's a lot of time gone from your home. If you have a family, you're gone from them, at least on weekends. And there's a wariness that comes with it where it's like sometimes you will literally be in your car, you'll be sitting outside of a venue thinking, I don't want to do this. I promise, you've done it, I've done it. Anybody who's ever done this has done this, where you're just like, I don't want to be here. And then randomly, most likely on the same night that you were 100% out on whatever you're doing, you have one of the best nights of your life.
Best nights ever.
It never fails, where somebody makes it interesting, the crowd is fun, like it really never fails. When I say it's magical to get up and do something like this, either in South France or the Arcada Theater, whatever the best drug that you've ever done, okay, whatever that is, this beats that by 1,000 times every single day.
It does.
It does.
It
There
really
is no
does.
drug like it, I promise. Now, granted, I've never done drugs, so I don't know what that's like.
Me either.
I might reserve that for another time, but what I mean is that it is such a blessing and an honor to have this God-given ability, and thank my Lord Savior Jesus Christ for this ability, because I can't see my life going any differently. Hindsight 100% is 20/20, and the maturation of my life through music has made me a better person. It's made me a better husband. It's made me a better friend. It's made me just a better human overall, because I understand that not everybody gets this right to do this. They don't get the talent to do it. And somehow God saw it fit to bestow this on me to do it in whatever capacity that I get to do it in. I am thankful. So
Well, we're thankful you're still doing it.
I'm
thankful, for
I'm
sure.
thankful. Yeah. Yes. I did. Oof.
Okay, we have some audience participation.
Well, this is
Chris's
about to get
mom
heavy.
Wants to. I have a song also that I want to talk about too. But you go do this. So go ahead and repeat the question so everybody can hear what's going on.
So my mom is asking me about a song I wrote. Okay.
Is this Answer the Call?
It is.
Okay, that's the one I wanted to talk about.
So the
This is my favorite song, by the way.
I'm so glad
yours.
you like it. So this next song is a song that I wrote, and I'm just going to preface this with the only time that this song gets played is when something bad happens or somebody's showing to somebody who's in this field. I'm sure everybody remembers back 5-6 years ago where our police were in the national spotlight, right? There was a very negative spotlight on the law enforcement and LEOs, and I didn't think it was quite fair. Obviously, I'm not excusing the ones who really are bad apples. I will never excuse that. But I'd like to believe that 99.95% of those people in that field are doing right by the people they serve. So I'm sure you all remember the death of Deputy Goforth. It was a massive deal in Houston. If you don't, just a quick Google search will show you. He was at a gas station in Cypress, Texas. He was merely getting gas. He was on his way home to his wife and kids, and somebody just shot him right there in the parking lot. Not even, didn't give two thoughts about his life, his family, just shot him cold dead in a parking lot. And I remember watching the funeral and them folding a flag and handing it to his son and his wife. And at that moment, it's funny how inspiration works, because whenever you write a song about something as heavy as that, people always think that you're trying to gain something from it, right? I was not. I've always said, and I will always say, that if this song ever did anything and it gets shared, I could care less about the recognition. I don't care if you show this song to a police officer friend, you don't even say my name. Do not care. Because the point of this song was to paint the picture of what I thought a police officer's life probably looked like from a very young age to the end. And that there are people, there are the majority of people love what they do and appreciate what they do, because it is an incredibly important job and one that really doesn't have a whole lot of thanks to it. So please bear with me. This song is hard. I did sing this at a police officer's funeral, which was one of the most incredibly hard things I've ever done in my life. Again, if you go look up this song, please share it with those who are in this profession. Let them know that we still care, that we still appreciate what they do. The song's called Answer the Call. Little Jimmy Johnson lives at House 803. Plays cops and robbers, Sycamore Street. He's got a badge on his heart, boots on his feet. He's got a 6-gun shooter within his reach. He patrols the street on a red 3-wheel, on the lookout for crooks and thrills, serving his neighbors one mailbox at a time. Everybody knew his purpose in life. He answered the call to leave. He risked it all for you and me. He lays his life on the line. Yeah, he wear blue for all his life. He's got a badge on his heart, a prayer on his breath, burden on his shoulders and no regrets. He steps out into the great unknown, but with the faith of God he'll make it home. He answers the call to leave. He risks it all for you and me. He lays his life on the line. Yeah, he'll wear blue for all his life. He's got a badge on his heart, medals on his chest, a 21-gun salute as he's laid to rest. He answered the call to leave. He gave it all for you and me. He gave his life all is light. Yeah, you were blue for all is light. Thank you very much.
Chris Boys, everybody. And stories like that is why I've wanted to do this for so long.
You know, I love that song so much, and I'm so proud of it. But I just hate, I hate that it just talks about something that was actually prevalent in our country, right? Like, and it sucks that as a songwriter, a lot of times the things we write about are relevant events. You have to, because it's relevant. The reason you listen to music is because it has relevance to your life in some sort of fashion. If you were into old country, whether it was George Jones or any one of those crooners, a lot of times they talked about real world things that you saw in relationships, right? Well, we do the same thing just now, modernly. And so this particular song, it's hard to explain because of that time. And if you weren't paying attention, you might have missed it. But it was such a thing that I felt, again, I didn't care about the recognition of it, didn't need that, and it was, you know.
But it's not even about that. It's the fact that you were called to write something that was truthful and on your heart, and if somebody's going to say that you capitalized on something, I mean, that's...
And nobody's ever said it. I mean, let's be real.
But
Nobody's ever...
But we all have that.
Thank you, guys.
We have that in our minds, in the back of our minds. You know, we all have it, because as a creator, we always wonder if there's somebody out there that haters are going to hate always. Yeah. But the fact is, you did that truthfully from your heart, and we love you for it.
Thank you.
But we're actually going to take a very short little break here. For those of you who are listening, this is the end of our show, but not for y'all, because Chris is going to come back and do a couple more songs for everybody. Yeah. But tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on, obviously, your social medias. Chris Boyce, Boise is how you spell my last name. I do have a website. It is chrisboycemusic.com. Please go look me up. I think part of this is I just moved down to this area in January, so if you've got a private party coming up, book Susan and I. We'll come play. Yes. We'll come hang out, right?
We'll sing some Savage Garden tunes.
We will absolutely sing some Savage Garden. And, you know, I'm so appreciative you guys listen to my stories. And again, you don't know me from anybody. And I'm thankful for the opportunity. Please go follow me on social media. Please come back and see me if you see my name on a marquee somewhere. Susan Hickman, thank you so much for having me.
Chris Boyce, everybody. Seriously, go follow him on all the things. And thank you so much for being my very, very, very first guest. And you'll definitely be back.
Thank you.
Even if I have to go, like, hide behind a tree and bag you, like we joked about.
Get you.
I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Hooked, Stories and Songs from Texas and Beyond. We were visiting with Chris Boyce this evening, and thanks again. Thank you to Coco's on the Canal for being our lovely venue and lovely host for the evening.
And thank you very much to our live audience.
Yes, thank you to our live audience. We love you guys. We're going to be doing this every single Tuesday right here, Coco's on the Canal, 7 p.m. We'll see you next time.